Well, build my gallows and build them high. Makes a long time climbing before I die. I want the chance. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Longbangers in association with Leeds Spirits. I'm Matty.
Hello, I'm Colin.
Hiya, I'm John.
How you both doing?
Good. Aye.
All right.
Feeling pretty energised by that Tom English interview that we just did.
Aye, it's good. I was just thinking there that now we'll need to. So Tom English won his week at Hibs, right? So if you're a subscriber, you'll have that already in your podcast player. But I think I might put the two of these together, so they only get one episode going into the. You know, if you're a subscriber, it'll be one episode that lands in your podcast player. You can just listen to it right the way through, and then release it separately for everybody else. So if you listen to Tom English on Week at Hibs already, I hope you enjoyed it. He does cover the John McGinn tweet, amongst other things. Good conversation on VAR and the Bill Foley investments. Well worth tuning in for. This episode's all about the derby, though, right? So last night, 1-1 versus Hearts at Tynecastle. A lot to cover, right? So we'll talk briefly about the game, a couple of the key points, and then we'll get wired right into the talking points, because I'm conscious of the last couple of games that we've had loads of talking points and only really sort of scratched the surface of them. So I'll try and get through as many of them tonight as possible. John, how were you feeling at full time yesterday? What were you thinking?
Feeling a wee bit robbed, to be frank. The big talking point will obviously be the penalty for them. I thought Hibs were, in contrast to previous trips to Tynecastle, really, really good. I thought we picked up where we left off for the game against Dundee. I thought we saw more of the qualities of some of the players that we've really started to come to enjoy. So Marcondes, for example, he was a goal scorer, but there was a lot of other good stuff. I thought Mariah Welsh was outstanding in terms of what he brings to the midfield. I thought Bashiri had a really solid game. Trying to think if there's anything else that I want to call it as a highlight. Maulida had a wee bit of a. Is enigmatic the right word? There was points where he was out the game. Aye, there was. I think for the first 5 to 15 minutes he was involved, and then he drifted away a wee bit. But then it was almost as if he decided, second half in particular, I want to start getting involved here again. And to go back to a previous comment I made about looking not lazy, but not doing a hell of a lot, but covering a lot of ground at the same time. I thought what I saw last night was like a couple of clever little movements of the ball. So if you remember the goal that he set up for Martin Boyle at Aberdeen, it was just, he sort of like dragged the ball along the turf. He'd done a couple of similar things last night that just opened up. It was maybe a couple of inches movement on the ball, but it suddenly opened up a whole lot of room for him to move into. And yeah, I thought we were really, like, it was a disappointing point. As much as I said in our episode on Monday that I thought it was going to be 1-1, and I was proved right, it was a disappointing point to come away with, because it could have been 3, but for Xander Clark doing his best impersonation of Craig Gordon by being the man between the sticks in the right place at the right time.
Well, what were you thinking about it?
I was disappointed in the end. I went in obviously not expecting anything, like I was saying, although I did predict one all on our live programme on Monday. So, well done me. But
and John, you've both got it right.
And John, yeah, we should never put any money on it. Or I never. But I watched it on TV. I watched it on Hearts TV. It's actually all right. The coverage. It was pretty fair. Did you believe that?
I watched that as well. That at all, and it was all right.
That. They were actually all right. There was no smugness, bias, real. Oh, there was a bit of bias, right, but no anything like that you're going, fuck off, like mute them and that. It was actually all right. Even the half-time coverage, it was a boy Borthwick with the terrace and somebody Gary that used to play for them. I'm not sure. It wasn't Gary Mackay and it wasn't Gary McSwigan. So I kind of ran out of Gary's. Maybe Wales? No sure.
No, is he not a manager now for a lower league?
It wasn't Naismith either. So
no, Naismith I'm thinking of.
So I don't know who it was, but they were all right. Anyway, disappointed because, just like John said, we played well. We had more, as Tom English rattled his stats off, we had more shots on goal, we had more shots on target, we had more corners, we seemed to have more of the ball. We lost there was times where we weren't in control of the game, but you're not going to be in control of the game for the 90, are you? In a derby especially, against two evenly matched teams. It sounds ridiculous to say when they're 20 points ahead of us, but the three times we've played them this season now, and there's nothing. 2 draws and a last minute winner. Like it's 2 evenly matched sides. But they've got a guy there that, and I think I heard this on the radio last night. Well, today when I was listening to radio, the podcast, he's got either 53% of their goals or 53% of their points from his goals is the stat. So because they've won and I was talking to a Hearts fan tonight that I know doing at my daughter's football training, and he said Hearts are shite. Hearts have been rubbish, but they're winning games 1-0, 2-1. It's generally because Shanklin scores the one or the second, the winner. And I'm not saying they're a one-man team. They're a decent side, but they're no 20 points better in third place. They are, but they shouldn't be. It's just,
I think that.
But anyway, disappointed.
I think that was the big thing watching the game yesterday. Like, I know that the derby can often level the playing field a wee bit, but I didn't see anything for Hearts yesterday that made me think they are so much better than us. They are 20 points better than us. You mentioned there, Colin, not having the majority of possession for 90 minutes. There's going to be periods where you come under pressure, but I thought that the periods that Hibs came under pressure yesterday, there was a period for about the 35th minute where it seemed like Hibs were almost camped on their 18-yard line. Like, it almost reminded me of a team at the rugby, like defending, just facing an onslaught, and we dealt with it. And I think that's the thing that impressed me quite a bit about that performance at Tynecastle, because I've seen that level of pressure before where we've conceded, and I think that's the thing that starts to ramp up the anxiety and the mind of the Hibs fan on that occasion.
Well, it does. I was sitting watching it last night, and I probably messaged you, I can't remember, saying it was a good start, maybe 20 minutes in. I thought we're doing all right here. This is normally when they go and score an absolute fucking raker. Like for anywhere 25 yards at the top corner or something, like you go, fucking hell. And then it just drains you. And then they'll go and get a second in and it's game done. And that's my perception at Tynecastle derby. I know that there's outliers there, but that's what it feels like. But then we got the goal and I thought, we're playing well. And we've got the goal. Boyle had another, there was one when he broke away in the halfway line. He couldn't quite get the ball under control. I don't think it was his pace. The TV were trying to suggest he's maybe not as quick due to his old injuries. But I think when you see the replays, he couldn't get the ball under control, which slowed him down.
Yep.
And then they had a couple of wins off the line in that, which there was 4 of us sitting here watching it, and it was like, lucky bastards was the shouts. But actually, it's not lucky when you do it all the time. You know what I mean? It's good defending.
Yeah.
It's fucking annoying, but it's good defending. So it's frustrating. I thought we were the better team. And I've had Hearts fans, I've had Rangers fans, Motherwell fans telling me today at work, like, how did you not win that? And how the fuck was that a penalty? So
I have to say, it was when we did the preview on Monday at Easter Road, I think we made the point about there being not a lot between the teams in the 2 previous games, but us having drastically improved the team since that one at New Year. And I thought you could tell. I thought we looked like a much better team. And even just like, so one of the things we talked about was how the players handle the derby, and we were saying, well, these are players that played in big games before. Like, the Tynecastle's not going to be like a big fucking intimidating atmosphere for them, or like they're not let the occasion get to them. And I thought for the first time in ages we had a team that we just played how we normally play. Like, it wasn't like, oh fuck, we're playing Hearts. David Lennon did bring all the big boys in, or we never made any special adjustments for them. We just went
same team as Saturday.
Aye,
yeah.
We played our game, played the same way as we played against Dundee, and we bossed the game. And that the second half, all it really was missing was a winner from us. So I was never concerned. I wasn't looking at it going, fuck him, we're hanging on here, or they're going to score. I was just waiting for us to score. Was pretty much how it was going.
Aye, I'm just checking my notes that I made last night because I wanted to be a bit more present than having to ask you to jog my memory. But I'd noted around about the 38th minute that I was looking at the clock thinking, this would really set us up pretty well for the second half if we can get in at half-time 1-0 up. Hopefully this doesn't reverse Jonah, and then of course within a matter of minutes they get a fucking shitey penalty.
Let's talk about that. Well, we'll talk about Hibs goal. Let's take chronology. Let's get the Hibs goal first. John, what do your notes say about the Hibs goal, or what do you remember of it?
I remember like the ball seemed to break for Boyle, not dissimilar to what Colin was describing there before about like the Hearts commentators were saying about having lost his pace and not being able to get the ball under control. I don't know who it was that played it through to him, but Martin Boyle just seemed to find himself in space and he's bearing down on goal, and I'm thinking, fuck it, this is a great opportunity to get a shot away. And he goes for the wee dink, and however it is, it comes back out to Marcondes, and my notes on that point are just Marcondes cool as fuck. Like the occasion didn't get to him. And if you go back to what I was trying to explain on Monday when we were at Easter Road, like I wanted players not to be overawed by the occasion, but also be able to sort of celebrate in the same way. And Marcondes just kind of did his own thing. Like he finished it and he's gone away and he's given a wee sort of, again, smooth moves to the Hearts fans and enjoyed himself. So I think and do you know what was really impressive about it was, and I think it's something that we've been lacking for quite a while, is he was a midfielder that just arrived in the box at the right time. Like he was there, it was instinct. It was almost, I'm trying not to big him up here, but you remember how Frank Lampard used to just arrive in the box at the right time quite late, and he would score like roughly 20 goals a season for that position. That was Marcondes, and we've been missing that for midfield for so long. So it was good to see it. But in fact, like Hibs tweeted about it, saying that that's 2 goals in 3 games. And I think he's scored those 2 goals from roughly similar positions, just arriving at the box at the right time.
It was a rubbish finish for Boyle, but it was a cracking follow-up for Marcondes, who I think all the women in my house fucking fell in love with the man bun and all that. Like, I'm like, aye. But he wasn't very good in the second half. Try to talk him down in that. Like, calm the fuck down.
Aye.
Just because I'm fucking bald.
What was saying, like, we expecting you to have had a visit to Turkey and a man bun for this time next year. All right. We got asked about how many times the Hibs score for playing it for the back. That move started at defeated David Marshall.
Did it? Well. Aye, good.
And it came straight down the right hand side. It was just, I thought it was a really well worked move. A lot of it was about getting first to the ball, like Joe shouting, as you said on Monday, calling it winners and all that sort of stuff. We won the first ball in that move, got into good positions, and then capitalised on it. It was a really good goal, and no more than we deserved at that point. The penalty. So I suppose before we get to the penalty, Hibs did after the goal sit back a little. It felt like and sort of invited pressure on. What do you think was behind that call? Is that Hearts stepping it up, or is it Hibs going, let's not do something stupid, or what?
It's maybe a bit of both, but I would expect it to be Hearts having that get back in the game as quick as we can effort, as much as we would be going, didn't you like put ourselves under pressure, because they always say most dangerous times after you've scored, isn't it? So try and be solid. Which could invite them on, but I would imagine they've then got that panic to, we better fucking do something, because the fans will start turning, because their fans didn't accept, not at home, because they lose home derbies, really, don't they? They just don't. So
they didn't win many of them though recently. Like, there's been a lot of draws at Tynecastle. I can't mind how far back you'd need to go to find our last defeat there as well. I remember we were talking in the last one, it was no one there since 2019, but I think it's like 4 or 5 unbeaten at Tyney were. I could be wrong there, right? I heard that stat earlier.
Well, we drew last season. We drew this season twice. We drew the last game of last season, didn't we? Because we should have won that. The Celtic finished above them in the league. I can't remember before that.
Right, so anyway, the pressure eventually sort of pays off, I suppose, because they get a penalty. Who wants to tackle the penalty? Where do you even fucking start with that?
So Miller went and sort of leaned on the guy. Forrest, wasn't it? That's not a penalty, but I thought they half shouted for that though. But I think it's obviously not a penalty. Even Naismith said it, wasn't he, in his interview. And then Fish had so much time on the ball, he decided to not look at it. looking up the park, bad touch, looking at a boot to see where he's got to pass it to without realising the guy's coming in with his studs up towards him. So when he realised that, he's jumped out the way the guy studs, and his back foot's, well, the guy's ran into his back foot and crumpled. And Clancy gave the penalty. And we're going with Clancy here again, aren't we? We're just going to do the full thing. And he just pointed the penalty right away. Like, David Keff, the boy, was down on the deck by the time he pointed. And that made me go, is he gave that for the first one? Because he was that quick. It was almost like he was still thinking about it. And then you see it back, and I'm sitting in the house going, nah, fuck off, like, no way. Because at first view, I thought, as he swung and missed, or caught the player or whatever, then you see the replay and you go, nah, the VR's got it. And then the longer it goes on, he's standing with a finger at the air, you're thinking, he's getting shouted to the monitor. Go shout to the monitor, I'm fucking cheering. Thinking, no, it's that then.
Aye.
Everybody fucking kens that's not a penalty. Even the two Hearts boys that are commentating are telling him it's not a penalty. And then,
it's a
can you
penalty.
believe he's been told it's not a penalty. He goes to the monitor to watch it not being a penalty, and then he fucking gives it over. It's just, I honestly, it needs to go on the list, and this letter that I keep talking about needs to be done. Because I genuinely, John, I was talking to a Rangers fan at work today, and he was saying, he said to me, I can't believe that was a penalty last night. And then he mentioned the Celtic ones, that he was specifically talking about the Kyogo one. When Joe Newell caught him after he says, when do you ever get a penalty given when you've had a shot, you've had the advantage, you've had the shot and it's been on target, and then whenever do you get one for a head knock? This is, and I know he's a Rangers fan, it's against Celtic, but he's then saying that, and then he mentioned the Aberdeen one, and I said, and I can't remember if I said this when we were talking to Tom English on or off here, so apologies to anybody if I'm repeating myself, but that's all in February. That's all this month. All of the decisions, and I've not even touched the St Mirren one, which I think was also in February, where we never got the penalty for the jersey pull and they got that penalty for a softer shite handball. And you go, what the fuck is going on? This is just February. Like, before we go back over the season for a letter, we could just say, here's February's letter. Explaining this to us. Like, you apologise and then you go and do it again the week after. I mean, you could even argue, and I know you can't because I didn't, the offside in the Dundee game. You go, is it? But then I've got to go with it's meant to be black and white rules, but, I don't know. I don't know how obvious it is, but you go, fuck me. Like, it's every week we're getting something. And it's just, and I know every team gets decisions against them, but I've got a Rangers fan telling me, you seem to be getting a lot of decisions against you, right? And I'm thinking, that's why we need to get the letter out there to get everybody on board with us. Like, if Rangers fans are saying that, that's like, let's publicise this and let's put the referees under pressure to make the decisions correctly, not to get decisions that aren't. I'm not asking for a decision that we don't deserve to even things up. I'm just saying, just give us the decisions that are fucking due.
So all we want, just get it
right.
Can
we talk about a typical Hibs goal against us? It's a fucking penalty. Mm-hmm. That's a typical Hibs goal. Look at the goals that like three in February. Four in February, it's penalties. One against St Mirren, two against Celtic, one against Hearts. Did Aberdeen get one against us?
No, they didn't.
No. It's fucking wild how many penalties we're getting against us.
I wish we got them at the same rate as we conceded them.
I heard Liam talking about it on the other podcast earlier, and he said he gave some stats, and I can't quite remember them because I didn't retain stats because it's a wee bit boring. But it was numbers, and it was like if we were to get, oh fuck me, what was it? If we were to get for it to even out, we're due like it was based on the amount of penalties given against us versus the amount of penalties given to us.
Right.
And I can't remember the numbers, but it was is wildly different. And so if you're thinking, well, if that's going to even out over the season, like they tell you, we've got a couple of penalties a game coming for the rest of the season. It's just incredible.
If you want the actual numbers, listen to Down the Slope. Is what we're saying. Aye. They'll tell you the actual factual stuff.
Yeah, because I'm assuming he's researched it. I could just make numbers up, but I'm assuming he's actually went and looked it up.
Aye.
Right.
So I try to remember the Twitter account that I saw it. showed it was Clancy gave the penalty against Rocky at Tynecastle as well. There was another VAR shambles where there was a foul on Joe Newell, there's an offside, and Rocky's on the fucking ground when the ball hits him, and we get a penalty against us. It's just, I'm sort of at a loss where to go with these ones. Like, I don't know how you can explain it, and I try to think, like, I genuinely try to be objective with it. I genuinely do. Right, my first instinct is to always think like fucking, oh, we're getting hard done to here, and then I try to take a step back. But even if I look at Martin Boyle's yellow card against Celtic, now there's more contact on Martin Boyle, make him go down. Like, Martin Boyle's running faster. He's whacked into in his thigh, knocks his foot into the ground. It goes over. Now, it doesn't look great because of the way that he's gone over, but it wasn't any worse than, what was the boy's name? Vargas. In fact, I would say it wasn't as bad as Vargas, the way that he went there, given the speed that he was running into and how he was hit. Now, Boyle gets booked for the dive there. VAR check it, but then they send the referee to the monitor, so you see you've no made a mistake. And we're left with a booking for a player and no penalty. And then they go and review that and they go, you've made a fuck up here, go and check it yourself. And the referee goes and looks at it and still goes, that should be a penalty. I just can't get in my head how, with that technology available, that those you can get two completely different decisions. And I'm not saying they're identical, but Boyle's one's made a penalty than that one. And yet he's got a booking. And everybody was happy.
But we've not appealed that. And it's like, come on, like, we got the apology for the Aberdeen game that they kind of them have really apologised. We just accepted we made a mistake. But we should have been appealing the Boyle one as well. Like, we need to make more. We need to do more. We need to fucking do more.
See, in the interest of objectivity, I wonder if Clancy's given the penalty for the contact with the shoulder rather than the foot. If you watch, it was the hip or the shoulder, one or the other. And this isn't me saying it was a penalty, by the way. My first instinct when I watched it was, well, he's not made contact with his foot, or the contact that he's made with his foot is kind of like with his heel. It's almost like a glancing blow is an afterthought. If you can even, in fact, I wouldn't even go as far to say it was a glancing blow. It was minimal contact, but it was an afterthought almost. But then when it showed us another replay, you see the upper body contact. However, I think that is largely irrelevant, especially when you take into account the justification or the discussion that we had about Martin Boyle and how he's got a reputation that precedes him. How is it he has a reputation that precedes him that seems to influence referees' decisions, but doesn't follow Vargas?
Aye.
Boyle would have
got booked for that last night. We wouldn't have got a penalty. If that was Martin Boyle, that's a yellow card, and we didn't get a penalty. 100%.
So, as much as I was referencing the upper body contact, we also talked about the way that Martin Boyle went down and maybe cast a little bit of doubt over, did he go down naturally as a result of the contact? Like Vargas didn't go down naturally last night as a result of either of the two bits of contact that we've described.
Yeah, but I mean, I know, I agree, and I was one that said the way Boyle went down, but he also went down in a funny way last night as well when he was running through, when he couldn't get that ball under control, and that's the kind of thing that Foley's about. That's what he needs to, like, he might have been knocked off balance here or whatever, but the way he fell looks like he's trying to win a foul.
Folk fall funny when they're running. Do you know what I mean?
Like, he falls funnier than most folk though.
Yeah.
Is it because he's?
And that's why. Well, the Celtic one and the one last night. That's two examples, and that's why referees are doing it. I'm not here to defend referees, right? I'm saying we should be doing a letter, and I'm saying he never dived against Celtic. But the way that he falls makes it, and he's already got that. There's already that perception following him about. He needs to change something because the referees aren't giving him the fouls, and they're not giving him the fouls because he's doing something wrong.
Do you remember that was there not a period under Jack Ross where we talked about Martin Boyle and the amount of times that he didn't get fouls and he wasn't getting penalties because he was getting booted up and down, and we actually, I think we praised his resilience and said actually at some point he's going to become get a bad injury as a result of one of these challenges. So how is that turned?
Think he's overdone it too much?
I I don't think so. Like I think more was made of the way that he went down against, and I can't believe we're talking about this rather than fucking Vargas. But anyway, we'll move on quickly because it's definitely no intention to have a go at Martin Boyle. I watched that incident against Celtic over and over and over to get it right in my head, and I could talk you through almost frame by frame how Boyle goes down, and I don't see how else he could have fallen over based on the contact and the way that he was running, leading into it. His foot stubs in the turf, and as soon as it does that, it then doesn't kind of like his momentum changes.
You can take as long as you want. We'll go to day at the park, right?
Go. We'll do that. We'll do Phoenix for the Flames off the fantasy football league in the 90s.
We'll record it and put it for subscribers, right?
And I'll show you what happened. Anyway, Vargas has dived. He's got away with it. The referee's made a complete arse it. I thought, like, see, P-VAR, I used to say this about Clancy. Clancy had a mistake in him all the time. And he always looked like he went, I kind of fucked up here, but I'm going through it anyway.
That face, You've said that before.
And that was a prime example where I'm going, I have made a cunt of this here. And then going, shrugging his shoulders, going, well, I'm in now. And I didn't care what. I think at the weekend there was a referee praised, might have been McLean, for sticking to his decision when he went to the monitor. And the radio talked about it, and it was in the paper and that kind of thing.
He's thinking that.
I think he's gone, and he's like, I'm going to do the same. Like there's a bit of praise in it for if I'll go with what I think I saw, rather than what have you just fucking watched. And he's just done that, taking himself back to the days when he just used to look and stand there, going, I'm booking you. I kind of shouldn't be booking you, but I've committed now, and so
like a gleekit cunt, as my dad would say.
You the Twitter account you're referencing earlier, it was I think it's Paddy Conway, and he referenced the Hibs Celtic game where Josh Vela gets booked after the Celtic player pushes him, hits him in the face, all that sort of stuff. And it's one of those.
Is this why he's been tweeting all the Clancy examples?
Aye.
Yeah.
Aye.
And you should check them because there's some shockers
he was the one. I've not seen them all, but I take it was it Porteous that got sent off for a handball at Kilmarnock? That was when Lennon called him Clancy and went mental after the game. It was a deliberate handball or something, red card. He
ignored the Morello stamp on Porteous as well, so he didn't mean it.
When he was looking right at him.
I mean,
see, that should go with a company of the letter.
Yeah.
And specific referees, and like, these are all incompetent, right, for all these decisions, and you've all backed it. Here's the examples. But actually, here's one particular over a period of 3 seasons, or however long it's been, with however many decisions he's given against us. So just fucking strike him off your list. He's coming here and getting paid $1,000 a game or £800 a game. Nah.
Aye. Nah. We're not wanting to pay for him.
No funding that.
Aye. Right, I'm just going to move us on to talking points. Just for the interest of time, as I said at the start, I wanted to kind of try and get through as many as we can, and I think a lot of stuff that we would have talked about will get covered here anyway. So Kaiser Soze gets the first one. He just asks, does having a small head impact rational thought? Clancy does have a small head, so I'm going to say yes.
Wee brain.
Aye.
Does that mean that Shankland has more rational thought?
It's really brainy.
Aye, well, I mean, he took his time to think about what he was doing with the fucking penalty, didn't he? And by the way, everybody fucking chucking stuff that there's my head in that. Like, just stop it.
I know.
Like, he didn't do it. It did the help. Nah. It didn't put him off. It motivated him. You could have hurt somebody.
Let's give him a wee name and all that and stuff, eh? But it's more. It's not that they could have hurt him, but they were chucking. There was Hibs players in the vicinity as well, and and I'm not saying that's even worse, but like, you're actually chucking at your own fucking players. Like, I'm not condoning or chucking at any players, but like, to chuck it, like, it's fucking mental. You're just chucking stuff. Like, it's nuts.
It needs to stop, because at some point someone is going to get seriously hurt. Like, it's not even a joke anymore. When I forget the game that I was at, it was one of those ones where I never actually left before full time, but I had a bottle chucked at me, and then we've seen what was it they call it, the waiter's friend, with a sort of the foil wrapper bit extended. So I mean, I know there's been some folks saying it was a knife or whatever. Like, regardless, it's a fucking sharp bit of metal with a pointy bit at the end. Like, you're going to seriously hurt someone with that. Can we fucking stop it? Everyone.
Aye. fucking grow up. Harkis Consultancy Group has sent us a two-parter. Part one, I'm sure Colin will say this, but if not, it's not VAR as such as its fault here. It's how it's administered and the incompetence of the officials. This wasn't a pen for Boyle versus Celtic, which never went to VAR. This was a lot softer, went to VAR and was given. Part two, look at the Jumbo's high foot going into the challenge. Stud showing, look at his glance to fish, not the ball. Then the dive. It's a free kick to Hibs plus a yellow for the dive. And then there's the subs. So, it's right. So it wasn't VAR. VAR actually did its job.
Got it right.
It was the referee. The studs up, but I never clocked that at the time. But I've seen a few folk referencing it since. The referee was very reluctant to pull his book out for Hearts. I consider Rocky gets a book in early doors for like an off the ball thing with Shankland.
By the way, see that, right? See, I've only seen that replay once, so I could be being harsh, right? But I was like, oh, brilliant, he's been injured, right? Because I didn't see what had happened, and I thought he's pulled a muscle or something. He's sitting like on his knees like that. He was doing for ages. The ball went past him. The ball went in the box. He could have been up and got it. And then they showed the replay, and Rocky just kind of had his hand up, and he never went to punch him or elbow him, right? He kind of glanced him just by accident. He went down for ages wanting VAR to check that for a red card. And I thought, you're actually giving up an opportunity scoring a goal here in the hope that the boy you're playing against gets sent off. That was fucking wild. Like when you and I've only seen it once, so it might have been harder and harsher than that, but that's what it looked like on the one viewing that the Hearts TV put on. And I thought, you bastard, like you're just lying down there. And you're actually, as I say, I'm not going to bother scoring a goal. I'd rather he got sent off.
Aye. Clancy bought it as well. Ken came over with the booking for.
But he was hoping VAR was going to go big time and do the red card series full play.
But there was a couple of bad ones. Cochrane on Boyle was one that stood out, and you're thinking, how is he no fucking booked him? And it's another example where, like, with everything under scrutiny for the big decisions, see the wee decisions when they're like that, and it's one team will get booked for fuck all. Another one gets away with murder. That absolutely drives me mental.
I thought you were going to say it was another example of selective officiating, but you gave a really clear example or a really clear description of what I was trying to say.
Nice one. South London Hibs said if Mr. Clancy was staying in the Tynecastle Hotel, would you tan his windows if they existed?
Would it be?
Wouldn't condone that behaviour?
Aye, like can we take a moral high ground and say didn't we chuck in waiters' friends onto the pitch and then talk about panning someone's windows? And I don't think we can.
I would do it. At the very least, to play chapter run.
Just do the fire alarm thing. Getting the day abroad when teams are in Europe and that, and they just phone them and empty then they're like, gonna get a night's sleep in that.
Steve McKenzie said played well and didn't win because of a corrupt referee who went to a monitor, seen it wasn't a penalty, but still decided he wanted to give it. Jack Taylor said hugely frustrated evening. Can't help but feel we invited pressure after we scored and ultimately let them back in, albeit with an assist from VAR. Having listened to Alan Preston et al. Wax lyrical about them, I assumed the Gorgie Galacticos would be a cut above mediocre. We use, I suppose we could have touched on it a wee bit at the start. That was meant to be a Hearts team that's fucking pissing third place and having a massive reaction at losing 5-0 to Rangers on, was it Saturday that game was? Did they see it? Personally, I think you said, Colin, it was nothing between the teams. John, were you surprised at all at Hearts not being very good?
I think it maybe refers back to what you'd said before about Hibs going out and playing how Hibs have been playing well in the last few weeks. Like we never changed anything to suit their style. We said we're going to go out and play our best football with our best players available.
Yeah.
Do you know what though? Just to correct you, it is a Hearts team, not meant to be, that are pushing third place, and still didn't beat them. And we still didn't beat them, and take the penalty out of it. And again, it's hard to because I've been moaning about it all day as well. But we should still win the game without that decision. That decision should have been And by the way, we won the game, and that penalty was fucking ridiculous. Because we had chances.
But why are we rolling to win a game 1-0? Like, how's it? How's it not right for us today? Why do we have to score 2?
We might not have. Like, we might still not have won that. That might not have been just that take that goal out, they might have got another goal. You know what I mean? It's still we had other chances to win the game, and we didn't take them. And we've got to take our chances.
It feels like more often than not nowadays that when we play the game, we're having to play not. I don't mean against 12 men, but you're having to play like cleaner than the opposition, like and not not rely on referees getting things right. Literally just scoring more goals. That is all we can do. And I know that seems like a wee bit of an obvious statement to make when it comes to a football game that you score more goals than the opposition that you win the game, but that's how it feels like. So when it came to the Scottish Cup final, for example, like there was no contentious decisions there that went in our favour. We just won the game.
Aye. Right, Jamie Robertson said, well done to VAR for telling the ref he'd made an arse of it, but how often do you see a ref going against VAR? He should be fined for his bias and incompetence. That aside, we showed up well and deserved 3 points, and there's no doubt Monty had them fired up. No complaints about the attitude for the team last night. I thought they were spot on.
Yeah.
Alan Neil Duncan said we had the better chances and should have scored 2 or 3. They didn't trouble Marshall in the slightest, and the penalty was soft. Still, if you'd asked me a couple of weeks ago, I would have been happy with a win over Dundee and a draw with them. Disappointing we didn't win, though. You would have taken that at the start of last week? If you were asked, would you? Like a win against Dundee and a draw at Tiny?
Yep.
Yeah.
I think that's fair. Neil Waters said Obita was class tonight, and we were as were the rest of the back four, dominated for long spells and just couldn't finish them off, which would have been a deserved victory, but for a shocking penalty decision. New signings getting better with every week. Another positive performance too. Jordan Obita, John, tell us a wee bit about his impact this season.
I think he's just been like he's improved gradually as a player. Like I don't think that he started off great. I thought he was only a minor upgrade on Stevenson to begin with in terms of his crossing ability. But I thought last night was a really good example of what he offers defensively. So you saw like a couple of really clever moments where he's shepherded the ball out, for instance. And then at the other end, he's been involved in a number of crosses into the box, but he's also had a few shots at goal himself. So it was a proper all-round performance for a fullback. I think that was, I don't know, best game in Hibs jersey. It's one of those cliches that I'm reluctant to throw about, but he had a really solid game for us.
Nah, he's very good. I think, he's got to be in running for player of the year this year.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anybody really nobody's been as consistent as him.
Alan Woodhouse said we were excellent and should have won the game. The penalty decision was a huge blow, but we had chances after that to win it. We just can't seem to get over the line in tight derbies often enough, especially at Tiny. Tough to take tonight, but a lot of encouraging signs. Mikey Stewart has taken off an attacker for a centre half last 10 when we had them on the back foot is criminal, but we should have been ahead before that happened. We need to start taking chances. What did you make of that substitution? There was a bit of noise about it last night.
Was that Marcondes for Trantis again?
Yeah.
I done it the weekend as well, didn't they?
I thought before he took Trantis off, there was a passage play. I don't know which direction the ball was going in, but Marcondes did that thing where he went to go for it. He's like, and you could see that he was tired. So I actually don't have too many concerns about the substitution because I think having a tired player out there that's not able to contribute to the attack or track back is probably more of a liability.
Yeah, I thought it was a substitution that on paper looked really defensive, but in practice didn't really change anything in terms of the flow of the game. I didn't think we went, right, we've stopped attacking now and we're just going to sit tight and defend for the last 10. I agree with you. I thought we kept playing as we were, more or less.
So I don't know if it was in reply to that, but the boy Scott Amaruso lets it run that listens a Hearts fan, and he replied to somebody saying, bringing on a third centre half allowed the fullbacks to push up in a more attacking positions and stack the midfield that way or something like that.
Yeah.
Bit tactical for me, but it was something about that. So it created attacking positions out wide and it gave Obita more space. That might be true. I don't know. I'd need to watch it back because I never really noticed. At the time, I thought, it's a bit defensive, but actually, I don't know if it was a defensive tactic. It was a defensive player coming for an attacking player, but it allowed us to play a bit further forward. And Miller.
I think it definitely looked more defensive on paper than it was on the grass.
Mm-hmm.
Part Fry's Image said, no Amos on the bench highlights how weak we seem to have become in midfield. By the way, I think Amos is facing a few weeks out.
Was he?
Wee hammy, I think.
It's Campbell, and Campbell's out still for a while as well. And who's the other one? There was another one they named on the.
Is it Doyle Hayes?
Doyle Hayes, aye, obviously. Aye,
Aye.
they've all been out for, so it's like three players there out for a while. Caddens went missing again, eh?
Aye.
You said a wee setback. You think they've said nothing, eh?
Don't know. Maybe just kind of picking and choosing the games that he's coming in for. Part Fry's Image said, no Amos on the bench highlights, how weak we seem to have become in midfield. We turned up, and as we have done since St Mirren, gave ourselves a chance to win. Penalty looked really harsh, and it is one we should be asking for the audio to understand what happened. That St Mirren game was really the turning point, wasn't it? Like we were as bad as we possibly could be in that one. I think since that game, performances have been steadily improving.
Maybe we needed to hit rock bottom and have the players have a go at each other in the change room.
That was about the time you were suggesting rock bottom would be getting relegated, remember?
Aye.
Remember that? When the outrage that created?
Yep.
Shock John Faulkner.
Gillian said, more positives than negatives. Great to see players actually playing with fire in their guts and not giving up. Should have taken our chances, though. Was nervous before this game. Can't believe I'm disappointed with a draw. No comment on that penalty. Cal said, it's getting ridiculous now. Before VAR, you went home thinking you might have been cheated. Now you go home knowing you've been cheated.
Not with VAR, though. By the ref.
Well, by the ref, yeah. Like, we can't know exactly where to pin the blame. WTC 1981 said, robbed by bad luck and Clancy's ego. No danger, that's a pen. Gutted for Venti not to get the goal from that flick. Would have been massive for him, and the positivity for a running. 100% need the same commitment and style on Saturday. Now, if we talk about the running, a defeat last night probably would have set us back, like in terms of folks' reaction and everything. A draw and playing the way that we did probably allows us to take a bit of momentum into Saturday, do you think, John?
Yeah, so I think with Dundee getting pumped 7-1 as well, it's we've not gained 3 points from like we would have liked. So we've got a point. So actually, it went about as much in our favour as we could have hoped for.
Well, hopefully that's taking the wind right out of their sails as well.
Aye.
Yeah.
I was hoping that we were going to get double figures at one point because it was 7-0 early doors, like 60 odds.
Yeah.
And I thought, but then you know what it's like, they bring all the subs on probably.
Aye.
It's one of them, if it's 4-0 at half time, it'll often finish 4-1 or 5-1 because it's like we'll make the subs and take the foot off the gas. But double figures would have been an absolute stinger for them because their manager would have been under pressure, even though they've done really well this season.
Aye. Jeff Ashton. Sorry, John, carry on.
I was just going to say, like, it'll be interesting to see how things go in the next 3 games because that'll bring us sort of full circle with the 6 that we talked about and the number of points that we thought we were going to get. So it pains me to say it, but Saturday's another one of those big games. You know, if we want to meet those top 6 ambitions, but that's the nature of the beast, isn't it? You need to go out there and win it, and it's at Easter Road, so.
Mate, it's not just top 6 ambitions. If we get in the top 6, we've got to be looking for 4th and 5th place. And to do that, we've got to get 9 points. Aye, it's the first line, absolutely. Yeah. But we've got to get 9 out of 9 because if we might get less than 9 to make the top 6, but we need 9 to actually have a challenge in the top 6, if you know what I mean. To actually do something.
What would be good to buck the trend is to get not just off the back of good performance at Tynecastle, but hopefully we can get a few extra bodies through the door on Saturday and get another performance as well, because we've had that in the past where we've had a good performance then let it fall down in the subsequent game.
Yeah.
We need the similar sort of performance, same sort of demands for the players.
Right, we're going to just get a couple more and then we're out of time. Right, so Jeff Ashton said, I'm sure others will mention the non-penalty, so I won't. The January signings are getting fitter, used to the pace and teammates, and I'm hoping we have a really strong end to the season. The defence played well. That header, and that was Maolida's header. He's got to score that.
I forgot about that.
I mean,
that's what I'm meaning about taking our chances. You know
I thought it was in. It's like one of these ones. I was like, yes, and then going, for fuck's sake.
Good tactic for Jeff there to get read out. There's got to be loads about the penalty. I'll see something else.
I'll do something.
Well done, Jeff.
Creative, well done. Hibernian Lone Watch said, do people with short arms buy longer shoelaces?
That's a good question, actually.
Would it matter? Would you be able to reach them if you had short arms?
If they're on the ground,
If they're
you need
longer.
to. But they might be. Fuck it. We'll come back to that one on another podcast. Chris said, brilliant performance all round. Definitely the better team. Would have liked to see Alf come on for Marcondes. Dundee are there for the taking.
That's
Totally
a
agree
shout,
that.
actually.
Aye.
Ah.
I think last night felt like a game that was sort of tailor-made for Alf to come on and.
It's a more like for like, probably,
Aye.
than Triantis as well. But maybe he was trying to change the tactics, like Scott was suggesting as well. So who knows?
Dave Thompson says, great team performance and very unlucky that they seem to be in the correct place to block shots. Reference to missiles. Should people who have their faces covered get into games? Does safe standing make it impossible to identify these idiots? Loads of wee bams being dicks, in my opinion, says Dave. It's definitely like a probably. I mean, that's the kind of the ultras culture now, isn't it? To kind of hide your face, and I can't. I mean, I can't if I'm just being old with these things, but yes, like I don't get the need for the chucking
And
stuff.
do we know it was them though? Are
Well,
they just getting the blame of the obvious people to blame? Like, because
I,
they were
I
behind the goals, but it
yeah,
doesn't
I
mean it was them.
know from first-hand accounts, the folk that were there said that it wasn't Block 7 that were chucking stuff. I think the natural sort of instinct is to sort of blame them, but from what I gather, it wasn't them. So, yeah, it's probably important to make that point.
One of our listeners, when a guy called Lex Lofer, he said in response to, I think it was Charlie, saying that it wasn't Block 7, it came from further back. He went, well, Block 12. And I was pissing myself. Fucking hilarious.
Right, one more, and that's us. Right, Raymond Gray said, just a bit more composure and belief required. Defence still requires to watch reruns of matches and be asked why. Still, Marshall has not had a save to make. Decent point, and good we're disappointed. More to come from this team. And I think that last line is probably the bit I'm excited about for the rest of the season. I think we are starting to hit our stride at the kind of key moment. I just hope we've not left it too late, like that.
Mm-hmm.
Aye.
We've left it too late for third place, but we left it too late for fourth place, you know.
Fourth is there.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Matt, on you go.
Was it fourth? If you look at the fixtures this weekend, I can't remember if Kelly are playing St Mirren, maybe. So it's like there's one of the fixtures where the teams above us, something has to give with one of them, or they both draw. So we've got a chance to close ground, and we've got Ross County again, and we've got Livingston.
Dundee Kilmarnock, mate.
Dundee Kilmarnock, right? So I ken it was like something. Are St Mirren playing Aberdeen?
Yeah.
Aye. So I ken like sort of the teams are around about us are playing each other. If we take care of our games, I think we'll be touching distance of fourth come the end of the season. If no there, I think with the players that we've brought in, if we're hitting form, avoid injuries, and get fucking decent referees, which might be the sticking point for us. I didn't think fourth is away for us yet. There's no much wiggle room, and we've not got much scope for slip ups, and we might rely on teams dropping points, but it's doable.
Get the referees. We'll just need to score 3 goals each game and only concede 1.
Aye, that's the target, Monty, if you're listening. Right, that's us. We're out of time. It's been a long night. We started recording at 8 o'clock, and it's about 10 past 10 now. So we've definitely put a shift in the night. Hope you've enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed listening to it. Hope you enjoyed the game last night. We will be back at the weekend to cover the game. If you're not already a subscriber, I would definitely recommend subscribing this week so you can catch that episode of Week at Hibs with Tom English. It's dead interesting. You can do that by going to our Hubwave or Patreon or on our YouTube channel where you go to the members section and you'll see it there. Yeah, well worth it. It's a good episode. If you didn't want to subscribe, just wait a week and it'll be out free. Anyway, thanks for listening. Well, it's they might want to, it's the end of the month. They might not be paid yet, or just been paid and all the bills been paid. Like all these things. So, Ken, we didn't keep it off for folk that pay. We're nice, is the point I was making. Like it does come out free eventually. No extra time though. Extra time only goes to the subscribers. Like you have to give them something exclusive, and they are good episodes. Well worth the money. Right. Anyway, that's us out of time. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
till they trailed me down. When I broke free, I drank all the whiskey in Tennessee. I don't drink